Guys, today we're talking about moving beyond blame. And we're going to explore this emotion today in my series that I've created for you guys called Emotional Strength Training, Emotional Fitness. I know this this image is corny, but I will tell you blame can really, really tie you down. So let's explore today and see how we can get out of the blame game and feel more empowered in life. So let me see. The cycle of blame, defining it. Blame is the act of holding others solely responsible for a problem or a negative outcome. Just wanted to define that. Typically, it's when we're blaming external circumstances, other people, past events, and the underlying emotion can be fear, insecurity, powerlessness, and essentially, it can even be a way of avoiding personal accountability in some cases. So, the toll of blame, and this is where the rubber meets the road, guys, it will hold you in victim mentality. The more and more things in life you blame for how you feel or your circumstances, whether it's true or not, you will over time perpetuate a feeling of powerlessness and a belief system that you are at the mercy of external forces. And what you risk with that is, again, that you're just going to shift into this paradigm of a reality where you have no control and where you are at the whim of the government, politicians, your neighbors, um, your family members, your boss, etc. So when you foster those types of blame game type of mentality and stories, you get into resentment, anger, anxiety, despair. So this victim mentality trap, it's not my fault. There's nothing I can do. It can be an avoidance of problems. It can be you unwilling to take initiative. It's easier to just say, I'm stuck with this. I'm coaching this young woman and she's in a work environment where she doesn't like the upper level management and yet she won't leave the company, she won't look for a new job, and she just every day with her family and her boyfriend complains about her job with this sense of helplessness. And I've seen it grow more and more rooted in her over time. And unfortunately, some people will want to get out of their pain and shift into a different mindset, and other people don't. And it just leads to this chronic frustration and, again, feeling like you're a victim and things are out of your control. That illusion of control. I'm not advocating for you to become a control freak here, but at the same time, the one thing you do have control over is your feeling state, your reaction to things. You may miss opportunities because you're just blaming other people. It can affect your self esteem if you're constantly feeling victimized. And again, ultimately, you're just sinking into the mud and not claiming what I call your sovereignty or your agency. You're sinking into more and more pervasive feeling of powerlessness. Honestly, guys, that's why I don't watch the news very often. I'll read the news, but if you watch an hour of news every day, you're just going to feel very rarely anything else but powerless over what's happening in the world. So blame is a much weaker position than responsibility. Responsibility is about owning your part, and your part is always your story. moving forward, and it's blame is about pointing fingers and staying stuck. And that leads to, as I was talking about earlier, resentment, anger, anxiety, guilt, shame. So how do we shift this? Take ownership of your response to any situation. You may not be able to fix the situation. It definitely may be or is someone else's fault. But the one power you have in any situation, you can blame, but the true power you have is to own your response, own your reaction, not just the event itself, but activating your power to self-regulate. And that's not that you don't feel angry or frustrated about something. It doesn't mean you weren't victimized by someone, but the one power you have is self-agency, and that is to decide how long you're going to let that narrative or that story or that person own how you feel, dictate your happiness. And frankly, in a lot of situations where you're talking about blame, the person that perpetrated that situation is probably long gone, not in your vicinity anymore, especially if it was something pretty bad. And, so this person that doesn't care about you is owning how you feel today. If you're blaming them, you tether yourself to people when you blame. The growth mindset, the paradigm shift is to decide that I'm going to own my narrative about this. So this situation where I was victimized or hurt or discarded or whatever it is, I get to decide how I'm going to, what my takeaway is going to be from that. And that's the growth mindset. You are in power to decide how you're going to think about it going forward, your takeaway, your lesson, and that's how you maintain sovereignty. So avoiding the blame trap, cultivating resilience. And I know this was a very simple presentation today, but that concept is very simple and clear that we can't always control what happens to us. People won't always care about how we feel. They'll hurt us, disregard us, etc. But the one power we have is what our takeaway is, how we're going to respond to it, our story about it. And my attitude with hypnotherapy is get the lesson, become aware of the beliefs you took on about yourself or that situation, and then be able to put that memory on the shelf so you can be free, emotionally free, and be happy and go forward in a more empowered way. So your daily challenge, identify one instance a day when you're tempted to blame someone and ask yourself, what can I learn? What is in my control? How can I think differently about this so this person or situation doesn't own me? And when I say doesn't own me, doesn't own my peace, doesn't own my happiness. And in this way, you take back your power. All right, guys, thanks for watching today. I hope this was useful, and I will see you next time.